the Orange Crush. Man, that was a good building tonight. Great to have the students back and then play like that in front of them. It was very, very exciting, and we appreciate them being there. Yeah, it was a night that a lot of things started to click, and I couldn't be happier for our locker room. Our guys persevere. I thought it was a night that, from an offensive standpoint, our tempo, our pace was terrific. Trent got us going early with a little layup. And then I thought establishing Georgie played with great rhythm. And then Trent gets in foul trouble. And then it's really nice to have a running mate like Io. And Io took that game over. And then Andres Feliz came in, I think he was 4 or 5 at half. And those guys were really, really good tonight. And not to discount others, but you know, it's nice when you play with a little tempo. We got AJ a couple looks, but it was a great balance tonight. 50+ points in the paint. Again, a lot of that attributed to our pace and our rhythm and offensive execution. We talked a great deal coming in about rebounding. Georgie's 6 offensive rebounds, probably a season high, I'm assuming. I hope he likes that. I hope he thinks that felt good. He'll continue to do that, but all in all, good night.
Questions?
Brad, were you happier with the offense or the defense, or does it all flow together?
I'll answer, I don't know how to answer that yet. It's nice to see other teams have shot clock problems. And, you know, I think that, you know, I'm always a defense first guy. But I thought we did a good job. I thought the ball pressure was really good. And then I thought that, for the most part, we limited them to 1 shot. And, you know, it's a pretty good feeling when you hear that shot clock go off, and it's not when you have the ball.
What do you think a Big Ten win like this does for a young team like the one you have?
You know, I'm so happy for that locker room because it's been guys that they know they're good players, and they know that at some point they're going to win. The winning is really, really hard. And, you know, now we have to do the next thing, which is get better tomorrow and learn now how it feels to show up to practice and have a good positive feeling. It's a different feeling than you do when you lose. And I think it's growth, it's maturity. I hope this can kick into effect the fact that, you know, we have played a really tough schedule and we can learn lessons from it. Now we've got to win. We can prove we can play with I mean, Minnesota's really good, guys. I mean, and we can prove we can play with anybody and now win games. So I hope that mentally kicks in.
Nico, the way back.
In the back. Outside of the score, would you say the +13 rebound differential was your favorite stat tonight?
No doubt. And that and Georgie's +6 6 offensive rebounds. We've been all over him about that, and not that he doesn't get them all the time, but that he doesn't go. And we've been really pushing. And you know, you've got the 4th all-time leading rebounder in the history of the Big Ten in the other uniform, and he gets a bunch. And Turo was 3.2 offensive rebounds a game. I'm very, very excited about that stat.
You talk about a winning locker room, but it felt like maybe a swagger returned on the court. There was a little more celebration and a little more emotion flowing out. Was that kind of just maybe frustration building over? Did it feel good to see those guys enjoy that moment?
Well, if you know these guys, they're got a lot of personality anyway. I mean, they're a pretty charismatic group, and you know, it's why I enjoy them so much. It's why I like this team, and it's never been anything but that. You should enjoy those moments. It's, you know, you win, you should get excited. That's what this game is about. It's creating that emotion, and that vibe. And it's not always like that. You know, we've been on the other side of that a bunch, and it's not a good feeling, but I'm glad they got to enjoy that.
Ted, Allen, Sambal getting kind of early ticks, just, is that kind of a product of how they practice that week, or is that just trying to get them more involved and see action on the court against Big Ten opponents?
All the above. All the above. They've been working really hard in practice, and they've been very, very good, and they continue to get better, and we're in a position to reward them tonight.
In the back, right?
This is a couple games now that Io and Trent both have scored the ball in the same game. Are you starting to see some meshing between the two and shooting the ball?
Never haven't meshed. You know, I think it's been, the pace helped that, the tempo helped that. That's something that is, we've been trying to play with a certain pace and tempo and not turn it over as highly as we have been. Tonight was a great example of that, but, you know, it's, those two are extremely close. I've said that defensively, those two have been ball hawks. I think it's been quite some time since all three of them played as well as they played tonight, meaning Dre. And they all did it in different spots. And, you know, Andres Felice is a really good player. And, you know, glad to see him get off the snide a little bit as well.
Coach, Io's put together a pretty remarkable run in these last several games. Just and he's not 19 yet. His birthday's tomorrow. Have you seen any player of his age do something like that at a young age in your career?
Yeah, I've been very fortunate. I got to coach Michael Beasley. And Michael Beasley was the number 2 pick in the draft, the same year that Derrick Rose was the first pick to the Bulls. Mike was probably the most dominant player in college basketball that year. He averaged 26 and 12. You know, as an 18-year-old. So now, beyond that, I mean, you know, Io's definitely up there. There's no question. Io's unique, and I say that in a very, very positive way. And that he's got a great mental capacity to learn and absorb information. Not a lot of 18-year-olds have that, and he does that. And now the game's starting to slow down, our system's sinking in, and he's able to play quickly, but the game for him is slow. And he's been great. He's unbelievable defensively right now.
Just Iowa and Georgia combined for 43 points. Just heading into the season, did you think that you could see like a stat like that from those two?
Well, I'm not gonna say I'm surprised by Georgia. I knew he was a good player. I averaged 9 a game in high school. You know, how many 9-point-a-game guys do you see step into the Big Ten and score 20 in a game? But you know, as he's becoming more comfortable, yeah, I mean, at the time before the season, that's probably pretty unrealistic. Not many freshmen do that. That's pretty unique to have that. But now I expect a lot.
Coach, was there anything special you said pregame, maybe different than you've done recently?
No, you know, we had a really good pregame. It was probably as short of you know, we go pretty hard in pregame. You know, we tape and we run through their stuff, and I'm kind of like an offensive coordinator. I like to plan out my first 4 or 5 things that I like to see, and we just snapped right through it. We were good, and we have not been doing that. But you know, I think the one thing I told them is if they didn't play hard, I was taking them out. If they didn't run hard, I was taking them out, and we kind of stuck to that early.
How about halftime, Coach? Was there, again, you're up big.
It's the first time we haven't talked about, hey, let's play a second half. We just said, the game's 40 minutes, let's finish the game. Game's 40 minutes, and we didn't talk about some of the nonsense we've had going on in second halves. We didn't talk about that at all. We were just, let's go finish the game.
Scott?
You mentioned Andres, but it seemed like tonight he looked more like maybe the guy we saw in preseason leading up to just, you know, both offensively and defensively. What maybe clicked more tonight for him?
Well, I think the court opened up a little bit. You know, I think we felt good about some matchups. emphasized to him that we need him to get the ball in the paint. He's a good passer, he's a good decision maker. He's strong enough that he can finish and take a hit. And probably more than anything was tempo. I mean, you know, right at the end of the first half, we drove the ball 94 feet for a layup. It was just a relentless push on his part, so the pace helped.
The young guys stepped up tonight and really got things going. I think they scored the first 18 points of the game. What is it like to get that kind of start from freshmen and sophomores?
It's a good feeling, you know, it bodes well for the future. It was good for tonight too, but we see that in practice, so I'm not gonna say I'm surprised. I'm really happy to see Tevian, you know, jump in there and make a three, and then you saw a little bit of his athleticism on his drive late, and, you know, a little anxiety, probably got him a couple fouls, and, you know, we still haven't seen Allen just jump up and have one of those nights where he's gonna make a bunch of threes that he's very capable of, but, you know, those guys are doing great. We saw, you know, Samba's little fade away and saw a glimpse of it, and these guys are getting better, and, you know, tonight it was good to see them rewarded with playing time and having to execute when the game matters.
Rob?
You've had two questions about the youth movement so far, but on the other side of that, there's also the fact that you can play more guys if more guys are executing, and I assume that ability helps you do what you want to do if everybody's available.
Well, all we're really trying to do right now is play really, really hard. And when you do that, you get tired. And the collective group can be bigger than any can overcome talent if you play really hard. And, you know, I felt that, you know, there was two plays in the Michigan game that have just stuck with me. One of them's Teskey outrunning most of our team. And then there was a play that Alan Griffin made where he dove on the floor for a loose ball and just was reckless with it. I mean, he knew there was gonna be major contact, and Alan's not the biggest guy in the world. And so we've used those in both cases. And our effort has to be maximized on every single play. And to let a guy that's 7'1", 260 pounds outrun us, that can't happen. And if you'll notice tonight, I took Samba out twice because Arturo outran him in transition. And we've got to get guys playing with maximum effort and increase depth. That helps, and that's something that I hope we can continue to do. It eases the load on everybody. We need to play as hard as they can.
Was there a particular reason for Adonis not playing too?
No, you know, Samba's been really good in practice. I didn't go in anticipating anything, but it was a great opportunity to get Zach and Samson some clock laid, and those guys worked their tail off every single day, and so it was good to get them in the ballgame.
AJ coming off the bench this game, does that kind of help the bench unit out a little bit more?
Yeah, and I thought, you know, just a little change. DeMonte's been really good in practice. You know, and I have a lot of trust, not that I don't in AJ, but I thought maybe just a different vibe for AJ going in and coming off the bench, seeing the game, seeing the flow of the game. And, you know, AJ's really good when that tempo's like that, and he's, you know, we find him. And so it's good to see him make some shots.
Scott?
Getting out transition more and changed things for you offensively, but it seemed like you were running maybe less of the handoff in the pinch post and more just action around the perimeter. Was that something you emphasized just for this game, or just made a little bit of change in the offense?
Yeah, we tweaked it a little bit. It didn't have as much to do with spread as it did, you know, tempo. We like some of the matchup things that we felt like we could exploit. But we're also trying to get the ball in the paint a little more, and not just do it with feeding Georgie directly. You know, not we were discouraged. We had 42 points, I think, against Michigan, points in the paint, but you know, it was about getting to the foul line, trying to be a little more assertive. So we tweaked it just a little bit.
Bob?
Coach, you mentioned the guys having fun tonight. Did you have fun? Is this kind of game easier on your voice, or do you think you feel better now than maybe before?
Well, winning feels really good. I mean, there's no doubt about that. My knee's great. I've got a cold, so my voice is probably more raspier than ever. But I know one thing tonight, I think I'll sleep a little better. And the nights, people don't know me very well, I'm not a very good sleeper, especially when we're not playing great, so that'll be nice.
You spoke a little bit about the tempo. When you guys play with pace, like when you played against Gonzaga, you guys can play really, really well. Is playing with pace and trying to play quick and play loose, is that something that you emphasize in practice? Because, you know, I've noticed some of the games earlier this season, maybe you haven't gotten out and played with the pace that you wanted to. So is that something you emphasize or not?
Well, I think, yeah, that we definitely want to play fast. I mean, we want to try to score under 7 seconds, and I'll be excited to see some of the numbers. Opponent has something to do with that. One of the biggest reasons we haven't played with pace has been fouling. And team shooting, you know, inordinate amount of free throws. We get the ball out of the net, it gets really challenging to run. We're getting better in that area, you know, we've become a much more solid and sound defensive team. But yeah, if we can, we can. And the thing we've still got to do is, you know, what was our turnovers tonight? 16? That's still way too many. And that's the balance we're trying to find with understanding how to play fast and then play smart.
Isaac, Brad, Minnesota starts the second half on a 9-3 run. How important was it for Iowa and AJ to get going and going like that 14-0 start to kind of end it right there instead of letting them creep back in and make it a game down the stretch?
Well, it was a big part of it, but I also felt really good. Our first 2 shots were Georgie right at the rim. And getting the ball there, I knew we were still pretty dialed in and executing. And then we got to stop, got an and one, and yeah, that helped. And we got a clean look at the 3, and then we were able to settle things down. But I still felt pretty good because I liked the looks, you know, going to Georgie to start the half.
Last question after Rico.
George, you mentioned that you kind of handed out cards that had individual assignments for everyone. Is that just kind of your way of letting everybody focus on those individual assignments that kind of, if everyone accomplishes those, can lead to that big picture goal?
You weren't supposed to say that. Keep it very simple. We're trying to keep it very simple. I mean, this is a young team that we don't want to overwhelm sometimes, so just simple tasks and simple goals, along with maintaining the effort and the focus, and not losing, not getting lost in the ups and downs of a game, but just keep it simple enough to know, hey, go offensive rebound every trip, or deny every trip, or whatever it may be, and for those individuals. So it was simplicity. Thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody.